Right.
There we go. Here we are.
Hey, Christopher. Well, they are late. How are they commenting? We haven't even gotten here yet.
Also,
hi guys.
You guys. Oh.
So we're in the Melissa G, Melly G, and Christopher Goodnight. How are you commenting? I didn't realize you could comment before we were live streaming. I don't understand how the internet works.
I think it's like the audience comes and sits in the
Right.
amphitheater before the show starts, and they're like whispering among themselves.
I guess.
Yeah, I assume.
But it still says we have 0. Oh, there's 5. Okay, it just jumped from 0 to 5. All right. Hi, guys. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the Geek Nation? You're listening to / watching the CultPop Spoiler Alert podcast. You only get us two today, Johnny Destructo and
Brian Lieb.
Brian Lieb. Thank you so much for joining me here on this show today, Brian, as well as the listeners. We're here to talk about this week's comic books. Oh, shoot. Do we have letters?
Do we have letters? How many? Do we have lots and lots and lots and lots of letters?
We never have lots and lots and lots and lots of letters. We may have one letter.
Ooh, a letter. Who's it from? Who's it by?
I don't know. I don't know if we have one. I said maybe.
Oh.
I'm looking now. Nope. All right. Well, that's not one. Hey, keep the people busy while I'm looking
All
for
right,
letters.
guys. Let's have a staring contest.
Shoot, I don't know if I have a letter.
So I saw the show Devs. I saw started and finished the miniseries Devs. No letters. Well, we're
No letters.
Devs now. It's sort of, it's science fiction.
Good morning, gents. Says Max. Happy to be here. I'm happy that you are here as well. Christopher, good night. Send me the link and I'll put on a shirt and pants so I can join the show.
I mean, you don't need pants.
You do, in fact, have a letter. Oh, I do, in fact, have a letter. He says I have a letter.
Could you resend it really quickly if the reason you know about it is because you were the one that sent it to begin with?
How do where's the letter?
It's the letter.
Anywho, resend it.
Yes. We'll take a special letter break.
I will keep.
No. JD, I believe this is our 700th episode.
Is it?
Your 700th.
It's my 700th episode. Welcome to the 700 episode extravaganza of the Spoiler Alert podcast. It's just the two of us. We can make it if we try. We're going to start off with Adventure Man #2 by Matt Fraction and Terry and Rachel Dodson. Diamond has this to say: the mysterious disappearance of the original Adventure Man gets a little more complicated when, in the modern era, single mom Claire Connell stumbles into his legacy. But with the adventure mantle come untold dangers from those who would seek to destroy it.
How would somebody do that?
Props for Adventure Mantle.
That is fun.
That's great. Did you read this book?
I'll tell you what, JD. This was the one book this week that we started out with. It started with a bang. I didn't read this book.
Well, you know what?
Yep.
You know what? This is now a thunder round.
Do you want to do that?
I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock. Look, it's a thunder round. Impromptu. We can do that. So basically, Adventure Man is Matt Fraction and the Dodsons, and we've got two different stories going on within the comic book. So you have these old-timey this adventure team, which exist in a fictional world of books, right? And so then you've got the modern age where the kid and his mom are hanging out and weird stuff starts to happen in reality. And the kid is a big fan of these books, but then the books start to seep into the real world. And it's big and it's fun. I haven't really grasped all of the fictional characters yet, like who they are as a team, but I'm really interested in what's going on with the modern world and how the fictional world seems to be breaking through into the real. I'm always a sucker for that sort of thing. So this is really good. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm definitely going to, I don't know if it's a mini series or an ongoing, but I'm in.
End of round.
End of round.
It kind of reminds me of, I didn't see the movie at the time, Last Action Hero.
Oh my God.
I never saw it. I had the Burger King cup with the like kind of animation kind of thing, but I never saw it. And then reading about what the concept was as an adult, it actually sounds awesome, but kind of not realized in the public what they were doing. But it's a fictional thing into the real world.
We do have a letter. Christopher St. Saucy sent it to both you and I, and it's empty.
No,
nothing. There's nothing in the email. It's just there's no subject, but or words.
Or words.
Subject, no subject or what's the word of the body of text?
The body of text. I also don't. I thought maybe there was just some weirdness going on with but
nope.
Christopher, we don't have it unless you wrote the words no subject.
That's that'd be weird. Hey, let me ask you this, Brian.
What's happening?
Did you read DC's Dead Planet #1 of 7?
JD, I'm not interested in reading books for this.
I'm not here to read and/or discuss comic books.
Exactly.
We're just here for friendship.
I want to have staring contests and talk with you exclusively about things not related to comics.
Oh.
I did read Deceased, and I enjoyed it.
Great. So DC's Dead Planet #2 from Tom Taylor and Trevor Hairsine. After a corrupted anti-life equation turned billions into monsters, including Earth's greatest heroes, our planet was as good as dead. Years later, a distress call brings Damian Wayne, John Kent, and Cassie Sandsmark, the Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman of Earth 2, back to a dead planet. But what will this new Justice League find waiting for them? If life still exists on Earth, who or what is lying in wait for these heroes? So I think this description is a little off because it says they are the Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman of Earth 2, which is the case. These characters, at the end of Deceased, the original miniseries, they pumed out off of the Earth and into space. I assumed just space. Somehow they wound up in Earth 2, which is another part of the multiverse. I don't know how they transversed the right?
Maybe so decided it was a good idea, and it's so commonplace in the DC universe that you don't need to be shown. Like, they left, and then they were like, it's probably a good idea to go to Earth 2.
Yeah, can they just do that, though? Don't they need, like, the Flash or some sort of someone with the ability to cross the multiverse?
Let's be realistic. They're going to do it. You know what I mean? They'll come up with a way. If they if Superman and Damian Wayne and, they're all on the ship together, they'll figure something out. They'll get to Earth 2.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and they are those characters of Earth 2 now because they weren't those characters on Earth 1. So technically that's correct. But I think it gives the impression that these are alternate versions of these characters stemming from Earth 2, when in fact they are our versions of the character, or the deceased versions of those characters who had gone to Earth 2, have been there for 5 years, and are now returning from Earth 2 to the place of origin, Earth 1.
Right.
Yeah. But as far as how the book is, this is just as fun. If you liked Deceased, if you liked Deceased, the second miniseries,
the one that we read
about the villains, you're going to love this. This is great. This is more of that.
That was what it was called. Deceased Unkillables.
That's right.
Which turned out to be a little bit of a misnomer, actually.
Yeah, it turns out they were pretty killable.
Yes.
Yeah. He says, check now. Trying a third time. Here we go.
All right.
So we'll wrap up this review and then we'll talk about the letter. And also I'm very excited because it's got my dude, John Constantine.
There he is.
And also, I love the costume designs. Cassie Sandsmark, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I feel like John Kent's Superman is a little boring, but I really like the Cassie Sandsmark Wonder Woman.
I agree exactly. I think the Wonder Woman one is great. The Batman one is pretty cool, but nothing like that new.
It's a Batman suit.
Right.
This could be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
What did I do?
He's unlikely to be Bruce Wayne. The Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just a gray belt, which I think they did in the New 52 even at one time. And Superman's is like, all right. Connor Kent's Superman from Titans of Tomorrow looks kind of similar to that. That was a great
Yeah.
kind of update future Superman design.
I liked all the Titans of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Great. And great story, too.
Mhm.
Was John Constantine on Earth 2 or Earth 1 at the beginning of this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
No, they were in...
No, he's in that bar. The interdimensional bar, or like the non-dimensional bar. What was that called?
Is it the House of Secrets?
Is that it? It might be. Is there a bar in the House of Secrets? I mean, there should be.
There probably is, but that's not the bar. Is it Oblivion?
Oh, is it the words Oblivion bar that are written on the comic itself?
That's the one.
It's the Oblivion bar.
Yeah, I bet it's that.
We are the world's greatest detective together, you and I.
We combine
our powers to make the world's greatest detective. But yeah, this is brutal. Just like anything Tom Taylor writes is pretty brutal. Also, I loved Kilowog. Also, I got a little emotional because they arrive on Earth, right? Or they arrive at Earth. And Kilowog is on guard duty. So basically, they have a rotating system of the Green Lantern Corps, and one of them will show up and just guard not only the Earth, but also keep an eye on the sun, because Superman is in there, the zombie version of Superman, and that's gonna no good if he bad news bears, as they say, if he gets out of that sun. So Kilowog is here, and he's guarding it, and something comes, a projectile is coming from Earth, and it smashes through the Green Lantern barrier. And I was like, oh no, what could it be? It was Crypto.
It was awesome. I felt that as well. Yeah.
His tail's wagging, and it was so cute. But it also made me go, y'all left Earth without Crypto? That's rude.
Maybe it was one of those things where they like were trying to go, and the door was closing, and Crypto was like, "Go on without me."
Yeah. Yeah. Classic Crypto dialogue.
Classic Crypto. He did used to have that little box.
Oh, really?
The Silver Age, he had a little box, because I think he's smart enough to talk. He's super smart, especially in the Silver Age. And I think he had a little box that would verbalize his
thought. It was an audio box. It wasn't like.
Yeah.
It was text. I'm serious. I thought maybe it would be like one of those little digital.
No, it was, well, they didn't have that at the time. It would have been little like panels flipping around.
Oh, I see.
No, it was audio. And there would be little lines, little radio audio lines coming out of it.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we know exactly as soon as you have that conversation between Black Canary and Green Lantern. Obviously. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you what. The part that surprised me was I don't think he's necessarily gone. Like, they have a cure, and he's not dead.
Oh.
So that's what surprised me. But yeah, when they're having that conversation, with this kind of story, I didn't read the first one, but it's like, all right, these are the people that made it out. They're good. And then once there's a sequel, it's like, oh, they're not good anymore.
Yeah, whoops.
Like they're heading back into danger. Something's going to go bad,
And also, I spent the whole issue going, why in the world would Cyborg bring them back? Why is he in danger? He sacrificed himself and has remained there as only a head for 5 years. And now he's like, hey guys, everything's so terrible. Get over here. This is going to be great. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be such a goof. Oh, you guys. Oh, I'm going to get you. Oh, we're going to have a laugh. But then they explain that. That's all well and good. Going back to Green Lantern for just a second. There's a conversation between Green Arrow and Black Canary.
Who is a Green Lantern?
Who is Green Lantern? That's true. Green Lantern and Green Arrow, which is real cute. I love that, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't make that connection. That's awesome. Yeah.
So Green Arrow, they have the whole thing with the sword, which is pretty funny. Yeah. Fine, I'll hold the sword. Pretty Bird, I like it here. Promise we'll come back. And her response is, I promise I'll bring you back. Like, is that some dark foreshadowing? Like, wait a minute. How about if we both come back together? How about if you don't bring me back? I'm talking about alive would be great.
Right.
It just seems like she's already setting up, like, if you die, I'll bring your corpse back. I'll keep my promise.
It's fine.
Yeah.
My honor will be intact.
Yeah. That's all I really care about. But yeah, this is great. This is a lot of fun. Do you agree? Do you concur?
I concur. I reread Unkillables and I enjoyed it. I haven't read the main series still. but it continues to not be necessary. It's fun. And, yeah. And I always like seeing the future versions of, like John Kent, Damian Wayne, and Mark as the Trinity. That's always a good time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Christopher Goodnight wrote us in. Surprise, surprise.
Here we go.
Who saw this coming? He says, well, the email is called Trying a Third Time.
There it is.
Man, it bums me that the pods are combining. Hopefully the episodes are a bit longer. Jesus Christ. It's always something. Hopefully the episodes are a bit longer. Maybe if there is a news item that Brandon sees, he can record a reaction video when he sees it, and JD can plug it into the episode after the fact, or Brian, or Noel, or Len. I mean, I could literally just come on the show. Some questions. Why is it called Thunder Round when Lightning is the faster event of the two?
Well, because it's 60 seconds. If it was only 5 seconds, it would be called a Lightning Round.
And also, we were going for the Thor tie-in, the god of thunder, Thunder Round.
It's true. Plus, lightning doesn't have a sound. We can't do like sound. That would work pretty well.
So many reasons. And this is for Len. So cool. Who's not here today. Len, how do you feel about the possible inclusion of Storm in Black Panther 2? Brian, if you would, remind me to bring this up next time when Len is actually on the show. He's nursing a major headache today, so he's not able to make it. He's not feeling great. So, yeah, sorry. And it says some questions. I think that's only one question, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Len will answer that next time.
Yeah.
I'll ask Brian, how do you feel about the inclusion of Storm in Black Panther 2?
I mean, I'm not like necessarily opposed to it, but I don't think there's a particular reason to do it. Well, especially actually. So I happened to rewatch Black Panther, the first one, just the other night.
One of my favorites of the Marvel Universe. So good.
A phenomenal movie. Yes, with my girlfriend Tamara, and so she had never seen it before, and she enjoyed it. And she's not really into comics either. So anyone who hasn't watched Black Panther, watch it.
Watch it.
Anyway, what was I talking about?
Black Panther.
With somebody already, right? So like that was kind of the most interesting or only thing about Black Panther and Storm being together was that they were together. Like romantically, she was the queen and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen unless something shitty happens,
Well, I mean, if they're going to do it, I mean, it would be a nice little romance triangle, right?
It could be. Yeah, I guess it could be.
Bring some tension into the mix.
I suppose some tension could be in the mix, but they're happy. Why do you want to screw that up, JD? That's what I want to know.
I was thinking maybe for drama's sake, but
for the a story arc.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I don't see it. Plus she hasn't been introduced. Storm's an X-Man. Although a quick little after credits thing where you see, because she's discovered in Africa. There could be some crazy weather thing that T'Challa notices, and then you do a quick cut over, and it's Aurora. Yeah.
I think what would be great is if at the end of Black Panther 2, he gets handed a computer file. And then on that computer file, we spend some time watching him on the computer, watching YouTube videos of other characters who we could see in the universe moving forward, just like in Zack Snyder's Justice or BVS.
Well, Whedon's Justice. Was that BVS?
Yeah. Remember, that was the way they tied in all the characters, was like YouTube videos.
Right.
They're like, oh, we forgot. Quick, just throw it on. It'll be YouTube. It'll be fine.
I mean, to be honest, I was still like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melly G says, congratulations on the 700th episode. Max says, if only there were a place online that I could show my appreciation, perhaps monetarily on a monthly basis. I think Max, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's talking about our Patreon, patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo, where you can help out the show and help us produce quality episodes like this where everything runs smoothly. I am appropriately ready for the show. I have already researched the emails and brought them up. And then Brian has read all the books. If this is the quality you're here for, give us money.
Yeah, I mean, the more money you get, give. the more quality you get. It's very.
I make no promises.
I'll tell you what. If you donate or pay upwards of $10,000 a month per performer, I would be happy to read 7 comics a week.
I think that's an appropriate.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Action Figure Expert says, "Hello, Heather. Hello. What's up? How are you? How are you guys doing? We're great."
Yeah,
And Max says, "Yikes! Glad we waited for that email." All right, let's move on to the other big book of the week, Fantastic Four Empire #0. And this is written by Dan Slott with art by R.B. Silva. What I like so far is that both of the 0 issues for Empire, Fantastic Four, and Avengers are done by the same art team who brought us House of X Powers of 10, which is great. Great. I love the art. It's so good. Diamond has this to say. The last of the Kree Skrull warriors, a pivotal issue, not just for Empire, but for the future of the FF. In the most unlikely of places, the Fantastic Four witness the final conflict of the Kree Skrull War, and the fate of these final warriors will make a stunning change in the lives of Marvel's first family for years to come. All this, and the introduction of a long-hidden elder of the universe, the Profiteer. Witness the first appearance of this new major player in the cosmos.
So she is new. Actually, JD, can we take a moment? An unusually or an unlikely guest, Carl Carls.
There he is.
Look at
from
that.
Tasmania.
At an unusual time for Carl. I'm actually not sure what time it is there. I don't know the difference, but it's late or very early.
Yeah. Hi, Carl Carls.
Okay, so I didn't realize I hadn't heard of the Profiteer before, but there's like a bunch of elders of the universe.
Exactly.
And I was kind of wondering if she was new, but I wasn't sure. She feels newer, right? What do you think of the issue?
I think she's whatever. I don't care about her at all. I wasn't like, ooh, new character. This character's so intriguing. Her name is the Profiteer, and she's there to profit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also, there was even a twist. It was like a twist that would normally come after like years of writing the Profiteer. My full name is the War Profiteer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why didn't you say that earlier?
Yeah.
When you were introducing yourself.
Especially since her whole, it's not like she's the Profiteer, but then also a War Profiteer.
Right.
The whole gist that she's even here for when we first meet her is to continue the war to profit off of it.
Right. Yeah, she's like, it's the gold standard, which I don't know how that works. Your currency is backed off of the abstract idea of war. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, anyway, that's not important.
The rest of the issue is great. I think that everything leading up to this Empire, as much as we have all been kind of a little frustrated by what seems like a giant event that is going to go on too long, so far, every single issue leading up to this event, and again, we haven't gotten to the event yet, has been interesting. Every issue, I think, has been engaging, interesting. I'd never have cared about the Skrull and the Kree and their war. It's something that I just sort of recently learned about in Road to Empire, I think it was called. It's a classic story, but I didn't know about it.
Okay, right.
And I remember that there was an 80s or late 80s, early 90s event called the Skrull or the Kree Skrull War, right?
Yeah.
I never read it.
I never read it either, and it was always one of those things that. So I was never too into the Avengers as a kid. You know, like they were fine, but I didn't really follow them.
Same.
And the Kree Skrull War was always that kind of like huge thing that had happened a while ago in their continuity. You know, so you got like the idea that it was this big thing, but that's about all I knew too. Yeah. You know, and the name says it all. But so.
The cool thing here is that so the Krees and the Skrull have reached an accord.
Yes.
And then the war is on pause. But this War Profiteer or Profiteer, who knows? I don't know what to call her. She's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, nestled in a box of what the fuck?
Mystery chocolates.
Was that?
Mystery chocolates?
Yeah.
Excellent.
But so basically she has these two children who have been bred specifically to fight in an arena over and over again and try and reenact these popular Kree-Skrull battles from the war. And they just kind of like attack each other over and over again. And then the one gets their throat slit, but then they put him in a stasis field and they heal him just so they can fight him again in a couple hours. So basically you have these two child slaves who've been indoctrinated and infused with these abilities, and also the entire history of their people, and have, are made to hate each other and kill each other over and over and over again, which I think is a really cool idea and a great way to profit. The Profiteer really nailed it, I think.
Yeah, it's
a business system.
It's a win-win for everyone.
But I thought that was pretty cool, and I like the FF. I like what's going on with Valeria. I always said
Valeria. Yeah, but I don't really know.
I like the whole thing where basically the parents do the thing. Sue and Reed do the thing where they're like, "You stay with the vehicle. We need you at the vehicle because that's the most important thing that we have here." Giving them a do nothing job, right, to make them feel important, even though they're staying behind.
Right.
And Valeria winds up going, they've brought us to a casino planet. And they specifically told me that our ship is the most valuable thing we have. Clearly, what they want me to do is to trade in the ship in order to get a bunch of chips so that I can win us more money by gambling in this intergalactic casino.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. I thought that was really cute and fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I also liked how it ended when we got done the Avengers Empire Zero.
Yeah.
They were with the Armada, and I was kind of like, so now it's going to be the FF or against the event, these ideologically opposed thing. No, they just happened to be there and were as surprised as everyone else.
Yeah, I like that. That was a nice little turn as well. Because they sort of just show up and they're like, "Oh man, what's all these ships doing here?"
So yeah, awesome. It was fun. It was just like a fun sort of little lead in.
And then I guess the thing that changes the FF for years to come is the fact that they've brought these two children with them, a Kree and a Skrull. Yeah. And now they're going to be part of the, I guess, I don't know, the Future Foundation still exists, right?
They exist, but they're not around. They're off traveling with Professor Power, who is, I think, was just one of them and then was made the leader at the end of when the FF got home.
Yeah.
So they're off wherever traveling, but I don't think they're not like specifically so far away that they can't be gotten to or anything. Gotcha. Like that. Yeah.
The Future Foundation seemed to involve a bunch of children, so I didn't know if
it generally does. Yeah, they're all very smart kids. Mm-hmm. Like that's why they're there. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, these kids could be really smart. Oh, we haven't really seen what they can do as far as that goes. But yeah, we'll see. I liked this as a lead-in. I was just thinking this now, that, a lot of lead-in stories, zero issues, will kind of set up what is happening in a more nuts and bolts way. It's like, well, this Kree-Skrull Armada is coming in, and we got to deal with them. But this sets up the idea of what's happening, which I thought was cool. Like a little background in a microcosm of these two kids, and presumably also, like, they will be kind of enlightened to hate each other less and less if they're continuing to be in the story, which I think is an interesting approach. Yeah, absolutely. This is a really interesting way to handle this. I'm so curious as to what the actual story is going to be for Empire. It's intriguing. Well, I think we've got the Krees and the Skrulls are now together, and they are being led by Hulkling. He was at one time called Hulkling. I don't know if he still is. But I always thought he was cool. I'll tell you, there's an issue coming out called Lords of Empire, Emperor Hulkling. So it's probably. I assume he's still called Hulkling. Wouldn't be a good PR move. Yeah. That if it wasn't your name anymore. I know. It'd be like being the War Profiteer, but also the Profiteer. Pick a name. Or like JD and Johnny Destructo and Jadles. Exactly. Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. Action Figure Expert says, also, if they're going to give meetings powers because of the Infinity Stones, how will the older characters be brought into the MCU? You know what I mean. Well, mutants, I assume is what you mean. Thank you. Yeah. I I mean, I'm not sure that they are going to do it that way, but there could also, there's a time stone, right? Maybe it affects things, going back also. Or just they were around and, Wanda is maybe not a mutant, or she was a mutant, but that's what unlocked her mutant powers rather than actually gave them to her. Standard retcon.
Yeah, the huge.
Yeah.
Max says, with regard to the Patreon, he was like, I was actually hoping for an OnlyFans, which is
what is
sort of a Patreon for porn.
Oh, great.
For sex workers, right?
I wore the button down.
And
here we go. $20 per button. Here it comes. I'll just assume that people are sending it in.
Again, great business practice. Carl says, it's 12:54 a.m. I was going to go to bed, but gonna have to stay up now for this quality content.
Fantastic.
Carl needs to stay up. Yeah. He's got the little things on his eyes, the Clockwork Orange things to keep his eyes open. All right, Stealth number 1 by Mike Costa and Nate Bellegarde. Let's see. Dead Hand goes viral. This old school villain takes his vendetta against Stealth to the streets to call out his rival, and everyone in Detroit must choose a side. This series is great. Yeah. We're only 3 issues in, but it's wonderful. I love it, and I didn't know what to think about Dead Hand, who looks a lot like Two-Face. But there's so many great scenes just in this issue alone. The dialogue is fun. The setups are interesting. And the bank scene was fun.
Yeah.
And this henchman's idea to turn against Dead Hand and going to the other gang, try and set up Dead Hand. There's so much fun stuff in here. I'm really enjoying it. And then, of course, we've got Stealth at the end going to a safe house where he's like, no, I had 3 safe houses. And the one safe house on this street, that's the one that everyone knows about. So that's not the one I'm at. I'm at the one that's good. Okay, great. And then you find out, oh no, he's at the one that everyone knows about. And he's being snuck up on by like 15 different gangsters.
Yeah.
So dealing with a character, a superhero who has memory issues speaks very loudly to me. I have huge memory issues. I have worst memory. And so this would probably be what I would be like if I had a super suit. And I don't even have early onset dementia. So my life is going to get only better as I go. What'd you think of the issue?
I think it's so well done. The writing is spot on. Like it weaves this tale that I care about, despite not ever having read a Stealth thing before, because it didn't exist. And it is a lot of fun. I find it's tough. It's tough to read because of the subject matter. I feel so bad for this guy, and it's hard to read that. But part of that is because it's so well written, it's so well conceived and executed. So I really enjoyed it. Let's see. I assumed that. Oh yeah. I thought you had a customer or something, and I was like, "What am I going to talk about next?"
No, I had to go refill my glass of water.
Oh, very good, very good.
Parched.
I don't see the comparison too much between Two-Face and Dead Hand. I mean, obviously, I see why you make that comparison. I just don't think it doesn't distract me at all. Right. Like, he just kind of, half of his face is this way, and he's, got some weird powers and what have you for completely different reasons. So I see it, but it doesn't get in my head too much. Really, really well done. Mm-hmm. It's also not a kind of character that I would usually care about that much, like the the stealth part.
Yeah.
No, like guy in a suit. I mean, there's some that are cool. I always thought Darkhawk was cool, but generally not too much. But it's fun. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what makes this character is the aging element, you know?
Yeah. Do you think the son is going to be, or somebody else will be stealth at some point?
Well, that's what I was thinking about that because you got the kid, and I imagine at some point the suit is going to go to the kid, maybe. But then
he's got a thing. The father was like, I think aliens gave him the suit, and they did something to him also, right? So who knows if the suit would work at all for it?
That's a good point. Yeah. It reminds me of Greatest American Hero.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Yeah, he had a bright red suit, and I believe he was
walking on air. Sorry, JD, I'm singing.
It's always more important to sing a theme song.
Exactly. Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
I don't know the next.
Da, da, da.
Exactly. Yeah. But basically, it was a TV show back in the day. Many days ago, and it was about this guy who gets a alien super suit that just looks like a superhero suit. It's spandex basically, but it gives him the ability to fly. I don't know if did it give him like superpowers?
I'm pretty sure it did. He would kind of like struggle through the air. I am pretty sure it gave him some other powers. Yeah. I can't remember a single one. Like
no. All I remember is that he was really bad at landing. He would always crash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhoomst. Yeah, if you guys haven't started it yet, it's only 3 issues in. I think it's still a mini series. I think it's only 5 or 6 issues so far. It's so good that I'm hoping it continues a little longer, like maybe a 12-issue maxi series would be great. I don't know how long you can stretch out this particular story without moving things forward, but then I don't know if that detracts from the story, because then it just becomes about a guy in a suit, if we get rid of the dad issue. But yeah, I think if you haven't read this yet, I highly recommend you pick it up.
He wouldn't also, if it switches, wouldn't necessarily, the dad story potential wouldn't necessarily go away. Like there's other things that, like the dad still has something inside of him that could have some sort of superhero element to the story, or,
True,
yeah.
Strange Academy #2.
Yes.
By Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos. Go to class with the students at Strange Academy. Your class, Jesus Christ. So Diamond, this is the Diamond description. So bear with me.
Here we go.
Your class schedule, 8:15 to 9:15. History of magical objects with the Ancient One, 9:25 to 10:25. Elements of chaos magic with Scarlet Witch, 10:35 to 11:35. Gym with Coach Taylor. 11:40 to 12:10, lunch, cooked by the Mindful One. 12:20 to 1:20, introduction to the undead with Brother Voodoo. 1:30 to 2:30, Inferno 101 with Magic or Magique. 2:40 to 3:20, pending survival, study hall. 3:30 to 4:30, magical plants and the care thereof with Professor Man-Thing.
I'll tell you what, if they were not writing this to be read on a podcast, but if you just saw that in text, that would be kind of a cool way to get across what this was.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible.
But this is a lot of fun. This is the Magic X-Men, right? This is Harry Potter, Marvel Universe. There's a couple of ways to describe this book. That is derivative of other things. But, it's a tale as old as time. Kids going to school and learning how to kill things with magic. Yeah. So this is fun. I think the characters, all of this hinges on the strength of the characters that Scotty Young creates or draws from, right? So the fact that we have characters like Dormammu.
Yes. Was he around earlier?
I have no idea who this kid is. I assume that Scotty made him up.
Yeah. I feel like he might have been in one thing before this, but really? I'm not sure.
If only there was some way to look at things and research things online.
Some people,
alas, there is not.
Might be interested in doing that.
And then we've got, I like Gus, the big frost giant.
He's fun.
Yep.
I think the concept of that is fun too. That seeing each one is well done, and I like the idea of here's this character is drawn from this part of the Marvel universe that you already know.
And then we've got Zoe, who you've got Zoe and Desi, I believe, are roommates, and Desi is from Limbo, right? So she's sort of kind of like a little demon girl, who I think she's very, very cool, and she is roommates with the name I just said. I'm flipping back quickly.
Zoe.
What's that?
Zoe,
and Zoe has a secret.
Zoe has a secret.
Zoe has a secret. We don't know what it is, but Desi knows.
Wait, is Zoe the viewpoint character, the one from the human world?
No, that's Emily. Emily Bright is her name.
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and the first issue came out so long ago because of COVID. Yeah. I actually went back and reread all of issue 1 just to reacclimate myself to the characters and then move forward, because I was like, I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember any of the kids in the book other than Doyle Dormammu.
Yeah,
he sticks out to me.
I like this. What seems to be a trend in fantasy, a lot of times, and sometimes sci-fi, there are entire races or kinds of people that are evil because that's what they are, right? Like ogres are bad, that kind of thing. And I like seeing this. I think this is an example of it, where we see people from races that are traditionally bad that are not bad, that are just, they look like that. They're good people. They're fun, nice, whatever. And I think that that's amazing. I think that that's a great thing to break down about fantasy as a genre.
I had the exact same feeling about the Captain Marvel movie. Spoilers for that film if anyone hasn't seen it yet. But basically, we have the Skrulls as the bad guys. They're shapeshifters. They're spooky and conniving, and they're able to change their appearance. And they have, for me personally, they have historically been in the Marvel universe bad. Why are they bad?
They're just bad.
I never had any idea why they were bad. Skrulls are bad.
Yeah.
For no reason.
They hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the movie came out and it was revealed that the Skrulls we were dealing with were just what's the word I'm looking for? On the run.
Like refugees? Or
refugees. They were refugees. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that they were just families trying to survive in a world that's trying to hunt them down. That was awesome. I really respected that decision for that film, because on a meta level, it was, everyone in the movie thought they were bad, but me as a reader always thought they were bad because that's all I've ever been taught.
Right.
So, I thought it was a nice little breakdown of how prejudice works and how sometimes we are just fed prejudices and we just accept them. Yeah. So that was a nice kind of subtle way to delve into that sort of conversation in that movie, and also here. Yeah. In the book. Yeah.
And I think why that happens sometimes is that one of our successes as humans, right, is that we learn from the previous people that have been around. Like, you didn't have to figure out algebra. You just learned it, right? Like, you didn't have to figure out knot tying. Somebody taught you how to tie your shoes. And one of the ways that can go wrong is learning bad, stupid things like prejudices and racism, that kind of thing. But
As for a quick side note, when you said knot tying, I thought you said you didn't have to figure out not dying. I'm constantly trying to figure out not dying. It is a struggle not to die. Melissa G says, I feel your pain, Carl. I'm always missing out on some of the podcasts because of the time difference. I'm sorry. I mean, luckily, it's on YouTube forever now.
Yeah.
You can just
watch it.
You watch it.
They can't, they can't sort of see it happen.
That's true. Yeah. Carl says, thanks, Melissa. I usually miss out on the live show, but as my family is off doing a nature walk, I'm staying up late watching crappy movies. And now this.
And this.
Crappy movies and podcasts. Crappy podcasts. Samuel David, hello. Jason says, JD needs to add some new tiers to the Patreon, the sing-along tier and a Brian Burlesque tier, with or without tan lines.
Well, I'll see what I can do. Well, sometimes of the year, no tan lines. Other times, tan lines.
Sam David, you said, so late, gonna have to watch in the rewind. Where are you located, Samuel David? I am in on this Strange Academy. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the art really moves it along in a fun way, in a really good way.
So, I don't know if anyone else knows this, but I do a live stream in the middle of the week at the same spot. Well, actually, it's on I think it's on this YouTube, where I unbox the week's comics that I get from my comic shop. And so I was kind of dissecting a little bit the look of this book, because I don't know if it's the colorist or if it's Humberto Ramos, but there's a different kind of look. Like all of the structure is the same, but now we started adding this sort of pencil shading touches to it.
Yeah.
Which here we go. Here we go.
You mean compared to other Humberto Ramos works? Yes. Yeah. I definitely agree. And I love it. It really makes it work well. In fact, now that I happen to be on this page, I wouldn't have noticed this maybe without you pointing it out. Let's see. It's very cool. His Dr. Voodoo, still called Dr. Voodoo, is the reflection is done in like all that shaded, kind of heavily shaded. And it's cool. It's a well done use of that.
That's awesome.
I don't think I would have noticed it, but now that you pointed out, I think that really is one thing that makes me enjoy the art, and it feels just, I don't know, more kinetic, more engaging.
Yeah.
Than it's something. Yeah.
I think it works to the book's benefit for sure. Now there's this one character, and I have a question about him. Do you know anything about this character with the symbiotic jacket, the leather coat?
No.
That is playing a video game with him?
I don't know anything about him. I had the feeling, just kind of like the gut impression, that this is sort of a Cloak of Levitation in the movie kind of thing, where like maybe intentionally, like, it's got the thing going up like that. And I wonder if it's supposed to be sort of similar to or analogous to Doctor Strange's cloak. But other than that, no. In fact, I'm looking at it now and there's a big eye on the as like a patch. Yeah.
I'm so curious. That character's name is Calvin. And I don't know. I'm assuming he's new. He seems new.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to hear more about him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Also, I want that coat. That's a cool coat. It's got the yellow interior. It's pretty dope. Cool. Yeah. Samuel David is in Houston.
Very good.
Is it? It's not Leighton Houston, is it?
I think he was
talking about.
Saying like it's so late, but you got to stay up. Yeah.
What's next? I'll tell you. It's X-Force number 10, written by Benjamin Percy with art by Joshua Cassara. Diamond has this to say: "The Deadly Garden. As one of the team members struggles with their secrets unraveling, the rest of X-Force has to fight to stay alive long enough to salvage their mission. Parental advisory."
Is that the name of their mission?
Parental advisory. The mission. It's just sex. Our mission, if we choose to accept it, is an orgy.
Yeah. It's a lot better that thing that often gets the parental advisory pass. Yeah. Extraordinary violence. No parental advice.
And then at the link there is the URL for the X-Men's OnlyFans. Just to bring it back around. So
there is a little sex at the end of this episode, or at the end of this issue, though. And I guess they sometimes rumored open marriage seems to be confirmed, because it doesn't seem like anybody's cheating on anybody.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
So I've seen the meltdown of certain fans happening in real time on different, I almost said message boards because this is 1996, I guess, in comment sections.
I heard the town crier.
Yeah, that's right.
He was like, "I don't care for this direction."
I was thinking of the newsies, the old-timey, the kids with the newspapers.
Extra. Wolverine, do it.
So yeah, it's clear that Scott and Wolverine and Jean are in a open relationship. The three of them. We first noticed it in the schematics for the moon base that the Summers live in, where all of the different characters had different rooms that did not connect to each other, and then there were 3 rooms that are side by side, and they each had doors into each other's quarters as well as doors out into the hallway. So that was the first time someone noticed that, like, Jean and Scott and Wolverine have access to each other's quarters. No one else has that. That seems like maybe they're having like 3 ways, and that's definitely what's happening.
Also, Scott Summers and Logan. Do you think they're getting together?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think so.
Up to now, it's only speculation, but we'll see what's going on.
So this was fine.
Yeah. Other than the Jean Grey Logan sex thing, it was.
Yeah, the rest was I didn't really care too much about, and I have to be honest, it's been so long since I read the previous issue that I didn't really know what was happening in the beginning of this issue, because it starts off with the 3 of them walking through a dark corridor that's very spooky, and Wolverine is saying every mind is a maze, Dom, to Domino.
Yeah.
And I know firsthand the best way to get lost is failing to keep track of where you've been. So my thought is that they were all inside Domino's mindscape for some reason.
Yeah.
Kid Omega had telepathically inserted them into Domino's mind, and they were lost inside her brain maze. And then of course they start getting hit with all of these booby traps. Booby traps. That's what I said. Booby traps. And kids ask your grandparents who the Goonies were, and so I was like, oh, okay, they've got mind booby traps. And no, it turns out they were actually in a real place that was overrun with vegetation, like Swamp Thing kind of vegetation where it has a mind of its own, or like Krakoan. Like,
did you recall what he was talking about?
What do you mean?
In time? Like why Wolverine said that? Did you remember? Oh, okay. She chose to remove something from her memory when she was reborn. Yeah. You remember she had like her skin taken off of her and put on to other. That's what she chose to get rid of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like Domino, does it?
To get rid of something like that?
Yeah. Like I could understand if it was something emotionally devastating, but she was just sort of, it seemed like it was more torture than.
They pitched it as so traumatic that she could like, well, a lot of it is just what you're told about how she feels, of course, in all writing. But that was definitely how they were playing it, was that it was like she just couldn't get past it. And there may also have been an element, I don't remember, of like they are taking her powers, because that was why they were doing it, and also using them to infiltrate Krakoa. Yeah. So that may have been an element of it. I don't remember either. It took me a little while too. I was like, what? Mind maze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it now that I've read the whole issue, and I was like, oh, this is what was happening back then. But
right.
I certainly was confused when I first cracked open the book. But yeah, that sort of thing, my idea of the Domino character is someone far more badass than what is going on here. But maybe that's just because the violation of what she experienced wasn't appropriately put across. You know what I mean? I didn't feel it as a reader. I was just like, oh man, she's getting tortured. They took off some of her skin. That sucks. But that sort of thing happens to like characters with healing factors all the time. So
right. Did she have a healing factor? She must, right?
I thought she did.
See, I'm not sure she does. I think like, because she was kind of messed up for a while after that and then was reborn. Right. I'm not sure she has a healing factor.
Okay.
But yeah, I got the same sense too. But that's how it is in comics. It's like, oh, this horrible thing has happened. I'm fine. I moved past it. But then when she started talking about not being fine, but I think that is shown as like an unusual, a new thing for Domino. That like for some reason this is getting to me. But overall the issue was kind of I don't really like, so like I don't know, Beast is bad now because I guess because he's smart. Like he's the next character to make hard decisions because he's calculating or something. I don't know.
Well, he's been off for quite a while.
Well, I guess I never really, when he brought back the Young X-Men and everyone was like, how could you? It was like, I don't know, seems fine.
No. I mean, for a while within the confines of just the House of X storyline.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Since the beginning of this issue, he was like, I'm a musician. I'm I'm conducting this orchestra of murder. Right. It just seemed a little strange for the Beast character. We had mentioned this back then.
We did. And we wondered, in fact, if he was the Dark Beast, as I recall.
Yeah, that's right.
little hair dye, a little bleach. Nobody can tell.
So this is hopefully maybe it'll pick up, but this one didn't really grab me.
Yeah, that's been the case with this book in general for me. X-Force.
Yeah,
like I was fine. It wasn't anything that I like. If we weren't reading it for the show, I wouldn't still be reading it. I don't think.
Same. Yeah. I'd say it's the middle of the rung, middle of the ladder.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not quite Fallen Angels, which I was like actively like struggling with.
And we no longer read it.
Yeah.
Actually,
well, it's done. It's over.
It's done. Okay, yeah.
All right, let's move on to one I really liked, Justice League number 16 by Brian Michael Bendis, David Walker, and Scott Godlewski. Impulse Unleashed. Bartholomew Henry Allen II has traveled to the edges of space and time, and along the way, he's discovered truths that he's kept from even his closest friends. Until now, the truth behind the legacy of Young Justice is revealed. What does tomorrow hold for Young Justice? I mean, I don't know.
No, that's not in this issue. That's next issue.
Yeah, and the next issue after that. And
then presumably the one after that.
Do you like? They still have Drake in this outfit for some reason. I don't understand why.
Yeah. So if I may begin with the name, I'm not inherently opposed to him being called Drake. It's maybe not ideal, but it's like they want something to do with him. Tim Drake gets kind of a bad deal because Damian is pretty cool as Robin, but Tim Drake is very cool as Robin, but they can't both be Robin at the same time. And Nightwing is Nightwing, and Jason Todd has his own thing. Tim Drake doesn't really have anything to be if he's not Robin, right? Like when he was Red Robin, it was like, I guess, but
I liked Red Robin. I didn't like the outfit.
I should clarify. When he was New 52 Red Robin,
right?
I mean, when he was the earlier Red Robin, he still had his whole history and everything, and he was still more associated with Batman. They just called him Red Robin.
Yeah,
I think he really works as a guy that is in Batman's life, And okay, so the name, I don't know. It's kind of clever. There's some like reasons if you actually were him not to use your last name as your code name.
Yeah.
But it's like a purloined letter kind of deal. Like who would expect that you would use your name as your code name? But that costume, man, if they change the colors, I'd probably be pretty into it. But it's a sore thumb among the Young Justice gang, like they are, it's just bland and doesn't fit at all. I don't know.
I mean, I understand they're going with. Well, first of all, I still laugh every time I think of like, didn't they call he's named something like he's named after the world's deadliest bird or something? And it's like
Allard.
It's a duck.
See, what you don't know is ducks control a large nuclear stockpile.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that always makes me laugh. But then I guess they're going for the color scheme of a duck. So he's brown and yellow and
so we have yet to see him from behind, maybe. I hope that there is a circle of green on his ass.
Maybe a little tail.
Maybe a little tail that could, I don't know, have some sort of bat thing, it's like a sleeping grenade, a sleeping gas or something, whatever. He named himself this, I think, because they were in a different Earth and he encountered a different one, and that one's name was Raptor, as I recall, right? Was it?
No, I thought his name was Drake.
Oh, was it Drake?
Yeah, that's why he takes the name Drake.
Oh, I thought he for some reason. Well, I'll tell you what, Raptor would be a pretty cool name. Birds, there are many birds that are called. Well, that's eagles are raptors. It's not a dinosaur.
I'm sorry, my face is. I'm politely disagreeing that I think Raptor would be a good name for.
I didn't think it was that polite.
As polite as I'm willing to be about the name Raptor.
You're not into it. Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. Raptor or Drake? What are you gonna pick?
I'm going with Drake. I think Drake is a fine name.
All right.
Because again, I think it's one of those things. It reminds me of during John Byrne's Superman run, the Lex Luthor puts all this work and money behind figuring out who Superman is. Yeah. And he finds out who Superman is. He finds out like all of the data comes back and it's, it's a machine, right? It's doing calculations and it goes, Superman is Clark Kent. And he goes, that's ridiculous.
I remember the cover of that issue.
Yeah, it's like, that's ridiculous. There's no way that he's the. So this feels similar to that, and like, there's no way Tim Drake would name himself the Drake.
Right.
Why would he put his name as his cover name?
Which I love that kind of hiding. You know, that kind of hiding of something where I don't know. It's just a intellectually satisfying way of doing that. So for some reason, when I first heard Drake, I was into it, and then I'm a little less into it now. I don't know why. Maybe I'll come back around. But that color, if the brown was red, I'd be down.
Yeah. The red and yellow, that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, I have another question about that opening page. Who's this guy on the top? I haven't been reading Young Justice as much, and he's swinging in like Spider-Man, but on like an energy kind of thing. Who's that guy?
Keep looking at it. What's he swinging on?
A telephone line?
He sure is.
All right. What's he called?
What do you do on a telephone if you want to reach somebody?
Call them, dial them. Oh, is he an Dial H for Hero guy?
No, he's Dial H.
Cool. Very cool. All right.
I wondered that too. I was like, who's this spider guy? And then I saw the phone and I was like, oh, okay, it's Dial.
Very good. Very good. Wait, is it in a phone now? Or does he carry it with him, the dial?
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. I always liked them. I always liked Dial H for Hero.
Well, yeah, originally it was like a little.
Yeah, they found in a cave.
Just the dial part of an old telephone.
It wasn't even a phone it was just like an ancient mystical.
Oh, dial. Really?
I think so. Yeah. It was this like golden thing. And then in the New 52, it was a really good series. They made it part of like an old telephone that they find and break off. And unfortunately, that was canceled before we figured out what the deal was with that. Let's see. What are other comics that I remember that were good? Starman by Jack Robinson. That one was pretty sweet. Oh, Devs. It was a pretty good show, you guys. I saw it referred to as a clockwork kind of show, and it is. It's very austere and kind of removed, cold in a science fictional way. A lot of the shots are beautiful, and they get into some interesting ideas that I am not going to cover because it'll be more fun if you watch it to just find out. Nick Offerman is in it, playing a serious role, which is cool, as is Allison Pill. Devs while you were gone.
About?
Devs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, yeah, I saw the first couple of episodes of Devs.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Yeah. It's nice. It's well shot and it's like beautifully done. I felt like it was. Yeah.
I was organizing my back issues, and I could have sworn I came across some Dial H issues, but I was going to go grab them, but I couldn't find them. So that was not time well spent. The issue, besides dealing with Drake's costume, how do we feel about the issue where we get some information from Bartholomew, about what's been going on with him? What'd you think?
I thought it was great. For one thing, nothing to do with the story. I love the return of Bart Allen and Connor Kent from the previous, iteration or somewhat previous, somewhat current iteration of the DC universe. So that was fantastic. I also like the sort of commonality between their experiences. They're completely different backgrounds, but they're both very young. But they seem, they're both like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old, but their mental and physical age is well beyond that. And they're, and Bart is like, even among the Flashes and the Supers, we're the different ones, And I like that. I like the quick, I like Bart's. I just like their friendship as displayed in this episode and this issue. Keep saying that. One thing, I never really understand why comics or genre characters are worried about this kind of thing, but he's like, how old am I really? I don't know. Am I 6? I'm like, what? I don't know. Who cares? You are chronologically 2 years old. Your mental and physical age is that of a 16-year-old. You can interact like that. You are not like these other people. That's how old you are.
Yeah.
That's your answer to that question. Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. What do you think?
I thought you were going to say these two characters, they're both young. They're both interested in justice. No, I think this is great. I'm really enjoying this. The interactions between these characters is what really drives this book for me. Mm-hmm. So having this whole issue of just Drake, Superboy and Bart just kind of talking and hanging out and figuring out what's been going on.
Yeah,
it's engaging, and the fact that Drake shows up at the end, I'm stoked.
Yeah, me too.
I want more of them hanging out.
Yeah, me too. And so I never read Young Justice, the original iteration, when it first came out. They are the original 3, right? And then Cassie joins them after not too long. Yep. Okay, cool.
And then there was like Kid Lobo shows up, and
back in like the
that I do have.
Ah, very good. One thing that I did find was odd. I kind of want to hear what JD has to say about this.
No, I don't. I sold it. Shit, it's not there.
Call out the person you sold it to.
Damn it.
One thing I thought was kind of odd is Bart Allen, a speedster, arrives in the future, and then Harley Quinn is like, "Well, you're definitely not Bart Allen. Let's drug him and put him in a straitjacket." Yeah. Why do you ask him if he was time traveling from the past? Harley Quinn now would know that, let alone Harley Quinn from like 40 years from now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I guess because he died, right? So. Yeah,
but he's obviously time traveled from a time before he died. This is not uncommon for them in their lines of work.
I don't know what kind of character she is at this point, because here we are, and she's running Arkham Asylum.
Yeah,
the children's wing of Arkham Asylum.
That's true, but also is I believed her when she's also like, no, you're safe. This is the children's wing.
Uh-huh.
This isn't the Arkham Asylum that you're thinking of.
Right.
That's how I took what she said. Who knows?
This is where we strap down the children.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
Full of drugs. Yeah. I'm curious to see where their thing goes. I'm also curious about, partially just for continuity reset reasons, why do they remember each other? Tim kind of remembers them, but not quite, thinks it's a dream kind of thing. So I'm curious to see where that goes. Oh, in the next issue, they meet the Justice League. So that's yeah.
Yeah, this is great. I love it. And the art's really nice, too. I really like this art.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not a kind of art style that I usually get into, and it's really good. It's a little more, I don't know, a little less defined than I'm usually into, but it's working for me.
Yeah, it's a good-looking book. I have a question, though.
All right.
Looking at this, so they've been doing these in issues featuring different characters.
Yeah.
And this is about maintaining social distance 6 feet away from each other, and yet Plastic Man has his hand directly in front of Flash's face.
It's a good point, JD, and I didn't notice that. I can only hope that Plastic Man, E.L. O'Brien, is not susceptible to viruses, because his body is completely different. So he's safe to demonstrate it in that way.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the rules is when you're maintaining social distances is not to walk up to somebody and just put your hand on their face.
It is.
Or near his face, really.
Counterproductive at best.
But yeah, that made me laugh. I thought that was pretty funny. You guys didn't really think this one through, huh? So yeah, this is great. I'm going to read more of it. I'll keep reading it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent. Is that it?
Were there any other comics?
Oh, Noel says, I have no audio, but hi. Hi, Noel. How was your week?
Yeah. Type it out. Let's comment.
How was your week, Brian?
My week? My week was pretty good. I watched it. I haven't been doing too much because I had some back issues, but it's feeling significantly better, and I got some it's not good news from a doctor whenever you hear that there's a problem, but I already knew that there was a problem. And of the things that it could be, it looks like it's about the least problematic. So yeah, exactly. So that's great. It's like a little something bulging out that in the spine area, but
I have one of those.
Yeah, it's not a disc though. So it's the part in between the discs.
Me too.
That's what you got?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, JD. I've been doing a particular pose also that has been helping. That a very good friend of mine, who is a doctor himself, gave me.
You have to show me that when we're not live.
Yeah. I don't want to give out medical advice on this YouTube podcast. I don't know. It worked for me. I don't know what anybody else's deal is.
I've been playing The Last of Us. I played Last of Us all the way through. Finally, I have a game that I've played through. It's been so long since I finished an entire video game. So that was a big moment for me. And that game is amazing. And then I immediately went. I decided I wasn't going to buy Last of Us 2. I was going to replay Last of Us 1, but on a harder difficulty. Okay. And then I discovered that I already had the DLC, so I played the DLC, which is a side story that happens with Ellie and her best friend, which is just the cutest thing ever. And then I decided to buy Last of Us 2 anyway. I made it about one day where I was like, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to make sure I really get all of the meat out of this game first before I go spending another $60. Nope.
No deal.
I bought Last of Us 2.
Can I ask you, I have no background. I'm not a big video game guy, and I don't know anything about Last of Us. Why are people that are probably wrong upset about...
I don't know.
Okay, some people have been, like, harassing the voice actor who is the star, which also is, like, I can't imagine the voice actor has a lot of control over that story. So even if you are upset... You shouldn't be doing that to anyone,
right?
But definitely not the voice actor.
So I don't know. I know a new character shows up, and that's the character that everyone is sending death threats to. And I know something happens in the game that is upsetting, but I can't imagine that is the thing. I'm only in the beginning of the game, sort of, so it doesn't. I can't imagine that's it. I imagine something else is going to happen soon, but
I think it's early in the game, from what I understand.
Oh, then yeah, I guess that is why.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
So I don't want to give anything away for you because I don't know what's a big story point and what's not. You know.
Gotcha. I'll tell you what I know off air, and then you can tell me if that's it.
Sounds good.
But there is if you remember when Mary Jane Watson Parker was an actress.
I do.
She was on like a soap opera. And her character was like a homewrecker, right? She was a real see you next Tuesday. She was a real jerk. And there is a scene in one of the Spider-Man comics where it's a Mary Jane scene. She's walking either from the set or to the set or something. And an old woman comes up and slaps her right on the face because of something that her character had done. And she's like, do these people not know that I'm playing a character? This is so like even I always that stuck with me for some reason.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are even more minor reactions. People refer to in like conventions when they're talking to these people, they refer to it as like, you did this.
Yeah.
Right? And these people clearly they don't seem to have any sort of real feeling that they're not having trouble distinguishing reality or anything. Yeah. But they're like, why did you do this and that? You know, it's like, that's not
because it was in the script.
Right.
That I was paid to read.
Yeah. Right. Do you mean like, why did She-Hulk do this in the occasion? That's a different question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was collecting a paycheck. I don't know what She-Hulk was doing.
Right. But I'm assuming that She-Hulk will, in the upcoming series, do things.
Yeah. At least one or two.
Right. And there will be cause for question in some people's minds.
Yeah.
Sometimes wrongly, I assume. You reminded me of that when you went back to replay The Last of Us, right? Something from the old days of video games and human culture. I was always reminded when Mario, not always, when I was an adult looking back, I was reminded, you know how you beat the game and then you go back? Like that's what beating Super Mario Brothers is. I never beat it myself, but I saw people beat it. And they went all the way back to the beginning, right? I think of Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, and then you win, and what you get to do is beat the game again.
Yeah. Get back under that boulder,
right,
and get to pushing.
There is no end.
Yeah.
Conversely, I always enjoyed when the video game would be like Princess Peach or whoever is like, we need your help. I always imagined being like, no, I don't want to, and that's just walk away. And shut off.
I am not getting sucked into this again.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like I am not interested in being your hero. I'm going to go do plumbing stuff.
Yeah. Oh shit. Sam says hi.
Hi, Sam. Oh, Noel, if Sam's driving, tell her that we waved.
Yeah.
If you also can't hear us.
Or just hold your phone up in front of her line of sight.
Yeah, do that. We'll describe what's happening, what we think might be happening in the road.
Make a left. Quick. Too late. Missed the turn. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. You can go to patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo. You can join us here on this, wherever you're watching this, every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Usually there are 4 of us. There's just the 2 of us right now. And I guess what else? Anything else? Oh, we're going to be doing some Thunder Rounds later in the week.
Thunder Rounds.
Yeah, which are 60-second reviews. We're going to do some of those later. So like and subscribe, and then put on the little bell so that you get an alert that we're live. Noel is driving. I can hear you now. Ha, ha, ha.
You hear us? I'm assuming the all caps Mario is enthusiastic, just kind of
Mario baby.
Yeah. Which is actually... this is our 700th episode, but I really think it would be fun to have a 701st episode spectacular next week with the other 2 guys.
Perfect. Let's do it.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, Brian, where can they find you?
I'm around at brianleibdesign.com and out on the streets a little more now that I can walk more than a few feet at a time.
Join me on Twitter at JD's Hero Complex, and come to my shop, JD's Hero Complex at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. We will see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk at you later.